This is a video series I'm going to start because I want to talk about musicians or songwriters or kind of just people I like who create music and kind of talk about them in a video. Not necessarily like going over how I got into them, because I've done video. I think I did one on Elton John. I know I did one on the Beatles. I believe I did one on Billy Joel. I can't remember whether I did or not, but I wanted to do spotlight videos on these musicians. Talk about some of the weird, obscure things I have based on these musicians, or some of the cool tidbits I know about these musicians, or interesting things I think about when it comes to these musicians, or why I like them, some of the weird, obscure songs, just stuff I like that I'm putting into a video. There it is. So today, we're doing my favorite music artist of all time. And it changes sometimes, but at the end of the day, it always goes back to Elton John. At least Elton John in the 70s. I would say later in his career, he still made good work, but he was never as good as he was in the 70s. This is my favorite Elton John album, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. This has a lot of his greatest hits. I actually would say, I'll take that back. His new album that just came out, I don't own it yet. Live from Moscow, I believe is the name of that album, where it kind of like strips him with the band, and it's just Elton John, his piano and his vocals, and he's just experimenting and having fun, and that is a fantastic album. This is probably my second favorite, because it's got so many of his greatest hits and some of my favorites. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is just a great album. Every single track on this album, I would say, besides Jamaican Jerk Off, is great. I love all these songs. And favorite album. Elton John's one of those people that you can just kind of watch in concert. I wish I could go. I don't have money to. This is a cool set. I bought this at a Rite Aid of all places. I did not know this at the time, but this is out of print and quite valued. Of course, mine is not, because if you can see that huge tear at the top there. Yeah, that's a pretty bad tear. There's a little booklet, though, that comes with, and just reads up on Elton John's pictures, stuff like that. Cool, interesting stuff. So for this set, by no means have I watched all this. I occasionally turn this on when I'm having a hard time falling asleep, and I just want to, have some background noise. This is kind of great for that, because it's just kind of Elton John playing his songs live, and it's just, there's all these different locations you hear him play at, and it's kind of, that's just what it is. It's a nice set. I wish this was more of like a box set instead of this weird case that comes out like this. And I don't know. I don't like this. It's a nice set, though. Overall, I don't like how cheap the cardboard is, because, again, I ripped it. I barely did anything to this. I actually believe I did this in the video when I unboxed this. I don't like this. Yeah, I'm really happy I own that. This came out earlier this year. I think after Rocket Man, Elton John's kind of becoming ready to retire, and so he kind of released this autobiography of his life, and I've been reading it. There's very interesting stuff. You learn about his abusive parents, his kind of dark past, and his deep insecurities, thoughts, and feelings. It's all interesting stuff. I haven't read through this all the way. When I'm finished with this, I do want to do a video talking about this book and what it means to me, and why Elton John is my favorite musician, and different things. I'm planning this stuff. I think why Elton John attaches himself to me is just kind of the sound. Right? I've always wanted to play piano, but this is a man who plays the piano like nobody's business, and I'm just like, every time I hear them, I'm like memorizing these notes, like wanting to do this with my hands. Dun, 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 dun. Like Benny and the Jets is an insane thing, and I like remember everything about that song. And I love so many of his greatest hits, of course, but there's other songs that aren't in his greatest hits that I love, like I believe Going to Be a Teenage Idol wasn't one of them. I Think I'm Gonna Kill Myself, Hercules, just so many others out there that I think are really powerful pieces of art. I think these are unique sounds. I think they're interesting ideas. These don't make me think like a lot of the Beatles music does, like a lot of John Lennon's music does, like a lot of Jim Croce's music does, or some of, well, almost all of Pink Floyd's, or some of Cat Stevens and The Doors and Roy Orbison's at times. Electric Light Orchestra makes me thinks about stuff. I mean, they're more about sound, which is what they're really good at. But sometimes they make occasional songs that make me think. Bob Seger, sometimes, all these artists I like are usually because they're expressing ideas, and I'm thinking, and I'm listening, and I'm making observations while I'm listening to their music. That's why I like them for what they do. But Elton John is the few music artists where it's just a good sound, and that's what I like. I like good sounds with music. I like good lyrics. I like thinking. I like ideas. I like points, I like things in music, but Elton John is the only music artist I really listen to because they're just a freaking good sound, and that's why I love Elton John. I think it's he makes well-made, good-sounding music that I'm obsessed with. Like, I can never get this guy's music out of my head. He wrote and he composed some of my favorite songs in like movie history, the original Lion King, and he hated the Lion King remake. So he's on my side. I have appreciation for this man. But I think this man writes good music. I'm obsessed with this guy's music. I would love to meet this guy one day, go to his concert or something. It's one of my dreams in life. Probably never going to happen, but I love your work, man.